So we're going to start by creating a new directory, and in that directory I'll make a front-end directory which we are going to use for just sort of a simple kind of like base to experiment on, because we just want to get to the point where we get a transcription of our speech. So let's open Vim, go into the front end and create a new file, index.html. We'll give that a doc type. I have to look at my cheat sheet here because I hardly ever do HTML anymore. Okay, so that needs a head, title. It's actually really not that necessary. So what I can do is just try to skip a few steps, and then here we will create a new JavaScript. Oh, now you're going to do for fine. So new JavaScript. So we need to get to a get element by ID. I realize that this might be very old school JavaScript programming. Once we get more into this, we will use a framework, most likely Vue. I don't like it, but it's the only thing I know sort of how to work in. So let's call it result or something. So now we need to actually we can just do it there. Recognizer. So we will instantiate a new WebKit speech recognition. I believe that's the one to make it work in Chrome. This is the very simplest version of it, because normally you would like to make sure you're compatible across as many browsers as possible. Continuous. That's true. We want to be in continuous mode because we want to continuously have our speech, well, in this case transcribed, but also recognized for other functionality later. So we want interim results to be true. That will give us results as soon as they're ready, so we don't have to wait for pauses in speech or do any of that kind of management ourselves, which is a huge improvement over where the technology was only a few years ago. That now we can actually get continuous speech recognition going, which is a building block of a lot of, if you wanted to go, you know, with things like smart homes and voice-controlled robots, that kind of stuff. So we will make a final transcripts, which will be a string, and then speech recognizer dot on results. So this is a callback handler that will be every time new results are ready, new recognition results, it will fire off this function and pass in the event, and the event will contain your results and a lot of other stuff. So interim transcripts is also a empty string, and now we can do a for loop for I equals event.result index, and then if I is smaller than event.results.length, Then we can increment I and script just event.results.I.0.transcript. I'm not sure why exactly, but the results are it's a list of results, and then inside there's another list which just holds the results again. So you have to do this weird little traverse thing. I'm sure it has a reason, but so then we want to make sure that we can render new lines correctly for HTML, because a new line won't do. So we want to actually render a BR tag, so a line break. Right, then we need a little bit of handling here. If event.results I is final, so if that's the final result, then what we can do is final transcripts. We add transcript to that. Otherwise, we add it to interim transcripts. So this is how we handle that our speech will come in as chunks. So now we want to update the inner HTML of our result element to take final transcripts plus yeah, we can render a little span here with some style. This is so super ugly, but we will make this into something that sort of will withstand expansion and growth of the code base. Okay, so we add interim transcripts to that, then we need to close the span, obviously. Alright, go back to my cheat sheet here. Now that we have that, that's the onResult function, yeah. It actually does not need yeah, we could handle errors now, but we don't have to. So actually that should do. So let's close the script tag, let's close the head tag, and let's close the HTML tag. Now all we have to do is in our body tag actually create the element that will hold our transcript. So that will be a div, I suppose, with an ID, and we called it result. So that should do. I think that could be enough. So let's see here. Okay, because I called it index HTML this time, didn't I? So it wants to use my microphone, so we will allow that. And while I'm talking, I'm getting some errors here. So it cannot find our results. Interesting. So it's probably because I left a space there. Does it really care about that much? So again, now that we're talking, it still cannot find the property inner HTML of null. So R is still null for some reason. Why? could that have something to do with, I think it might do. So if we were to put this here, allow, and now that we're talking, yes. So, cool, this is just transcribing now in the browser, and that works pretty well, weirdly enough. Even though like I'm not a native English speaker and I have a weird accent, it seems to be doing quite well. Removing all of my ums and ahs again. This looks very much like it did from Google's Cloud speech to text, except this doesn't seem to cost me any money, which is ideal and exactly what I need for this project as it is about to unfold. So I think this is a pretty successful test, and I will be working on some other functionality that has to do with video streaming, and then this is going to tie all together. So yeah, thank you for watching.